Right now on Sports Extra. What happened to them boys? The Dirty Birds are 6-3 after taking down the Cowboys. We're breaking down it all as the Falcons continue to roll. Plus, rivalry wins are just sweeter, aren't they? Georgia takes down Florida, but not without a little bit of a scare. Talking about the Dogs' win ahead of this week's first playoff rankings reveal. And it's Vamos United. It was absolute scenes at the Bend Saturday night as Atlanta United forced a Game 3 against Messi and Miami. Could the Five Stripes pull off another upset this weekend? This one is going to be so much fun. We got the guys with me on set. Sports Extra starts right now. Yes, sir. Welcome on in, everybody. I'm Reggie Chatman. This is Sports Extra. How about them boys? Well, they're headed back to Texas with an L. The Atlanta Falcons continue to be so much fun to watch, and Sunday was no different. Let's get right into it, and let me direct your attention to this. The Falcons are now 6-3 to start the year. That's the first time the Falcons start with at least 6 wins through the first 9 games since 2016. Kirk Cousins played great once again. The pass rush actually showed up for once and put on a complete performance in all 3 phases. All good news, and yet head coach Raheem Morris thinks his team can be great if they continue to improve.
Talked about going out and what it looks like to be the best version of ourselves on offense. We still haven't seen it, right? We still had a couple setbacks there, whether it's been the hold-in, whether you agree or disagree, it really doesn't matter, or whether it's been penalties that's kind of set us back to not allow us to be as good as we possibly can be. So we're still searching for that greatness, right? The imperfect game where you're constantly searching for perfection, as a good friend of mine would say.
All right, time to welcome in my guest, Paul Meharry from UGAsports.com. Proves that if you bother someone enough, they'll finally actually come on the show. Meanwhile, Barrett Sallee from SiriusXM, one text and you showed up for me, so I really appreciate that.
It's because I missed you and I love you.
Yeah, man, I love you too, and that's exactly why you get our first question today.
It's blackmail.
There it is.
That's why I'm way over here.
Yeah, exactly. If I was close enough, whatever, we'll move on. Falcons, a 6-point win, and it felt like a lot more. Why did it feel like more, even though it's another single-digit dub?
I mean, jump out to an early lead and then just take it from there. It was one of those games where, like back in 2016, where you knew it was over from the moment it started, and it's because they controlled the line of scrimmage from the get-go. Kirk Cousins had plenty of time. The running game was working. It wasn't, this was Bijan Robinson, I think, one of his best games of his career, but we still got Tyler Algier in there as well. It was just a complete game in every aspect, and it's something that we need to see from this team because they're not championship caliber yet, but as the season goes on, you need to know you can play complete football games. And in this one, when you can control it throughout against a reeling Cowboys team, you know you're elite and you know you can get to that point.
Falcons, 5 of their 6 wins this season have been by single digits. Kirk Cousins has been a star for this team so far this year. 7 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. My question to you, sir, is where do you rank him in the tiers of quarterbacks in the NFL?
I think right now you've got to be looking at him as some sort of top 5.
Wow.
Yeah, realistically, you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, he's going to be up there. I think Jared Goff is probably up there as well, the way he's played in Detroit. But Kirk is not too far from those guys. He really is moving the ball around. Darnell Mooney looks like an absolute stud, top 10 fantasy wide receiver right now. Drake London looks good, except he got hurt today. He's made Kyle Pitts look good at times.
Yeah.
This offense needed a veteran leader, and that's exactly what they got with Kirk Cousins, and it looks great.
What I think is really cool about Kirk is that he's had those games where he's thrown for 400, where everything revolves around him. And then you have a game today where, he's efficient, but he's not asked to go out and be a superstar.
He doesn't have to. Yeah.
And that's what this team needs. When they take away one thing, find what your B game is. Take a punch, figure it out, and move on to what is not working or what you didn't plan. Use that adjustment, the ability for Raheem Morris to look at something and say, Kirk, chill. We don't need you. We don't need you. We're going to have Bijan Robinson be Bijan Robinson on the ground and in the air. So I just think the fact that Kirk Cousins can do it all and they trust him to do it all is really saying something about this team and specifically Raheem Morris.
And it's getting better week in and week out with this offense. It's moving. It's gelling. You see Bijan Robinson actually getting involved where you thought maybe hopefully this is what we could have gotten last year. We got it this year, and it looks good.
What I really liked about the fact is Kirk was looking all over the yard, right? Drake London did get hurt. 6 different pass catchers in this game. This offense still looked good even without Drake London on the field. Why is that?
A bunch of different pass catchers, like you said. But Bijan Robinson through the air, that's huge. That puts all those safeties back, and they have to account for Bijan Robinson, which is not something we've seen an awful lot. And
7 receptions for him tonight.
Yeah, I mean that's not normal. That's not normal. And then look, Darnell Mooney, of all of the new players on this roster, I mean I haven't thought of one that's more impactful in the last several years than he has been for this team over a year and a half. And I think when you throw in Ray McLeod, what is happening with this team? It's just they have weapons all over the place, and sometimes it's weapons that you don't even think about.
Yeah, Ray McLeod was kind of a leftover Clemson guy who you thought maybe would be in the league. He's out there scoring touchdowns now.
Right.
Darnell Mooney, like I said, and I keep bringing it up, fantasy performer, top 10. It's because somebody stole him in my fantasy league. I thought he was going to do this, and I got stuck with Drake London. So, it's not that I got stuck, but you could have gotten Mooney a lot further down, and look what he's doing. It's looking great.
Well, look, Drake had a touchdown today. Darnell had a touchdown today. Ray McLeod also had a touchdown today. This Falcons team is a whole lot of fun, and in the past, the Falcons have always been fun, but now this year, they're actually winning games. So it's actually quite a difference.
And what's so cool is that you get diversity from the receiving core, and then you've got games where Tyler Algier is actually the better running back.
Crazy.
I mean, there are so many different weapons. It's just so much fun to watch this team.
It's so much fun to watch, which is why we're going to continue the conversation, send things out to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where Maria Martin and John Abraham continue with more.
Thanks a lot, Reggie, here with Falcons legend John Abraham. And John, this was a great win for the Falcons, coming in against a Cowboys team who probably really needed a win. However, the Falcons, they spoiled that party. They made it look good for pretty much 3/4 of football. Offensively, the Falcons were terrific. 3 touchdowns from Kirk, 4 different guys find the end zone. What was working for this offense, and how fun are they to watch?
Honestly, I got to say Zach Robinson, he's working.
Yeah,
Whatever
seriously.
he's doing in the playbook now is putting them in perfect positions to score. I think even Kirk talked about it, how it was a perfect play. They be running on 4th downs, and they're getting a lot more trust in the offense. I think they're believing in, the play schemes, and it's definitely showing.
Yeah, Kirk is really fun to watch. He's a progression passer through and through. He talked about the fact that he had a ton of time. Credit to the offensive line. It's great to see him divvying up the ball and at a high clip as well. Let's move to the defensive side of the ball, your bread and butter. This defense, they probably are sick of hearing people tell them that they can't sack the quarterback. They have 3 in this game. Why was it different, the pass rush in this one?
Caden Ellis. I mean, everyone saw it. Caden was able to come in the blitz, and he was actually able just to be all over the field today. I've thought the whole year that the linebackers has kind of been a little off, but I think today he played well. I didn't see a lot from Landman. I want to see a little more from him, but hopefully he'll come out next week against New Orleans and play better. But I definitely think it was Caden. I think Caden is a automatic pass rush guy, but hopefully we can do more to push him into the game.
He got the game ball at the end of the game. You said AK had a nice game too, right?
Yeah, AK. I think they're trying. Judon, we need more from you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to throw AK in there a little more and show you, look, there's pressure now. We understand that we got you here to rush the passer. We got you here. We're gonna drop you here and there. Make you feel good, but we need you hitting that quarterback and getting him on the ground. Your leading pressure guy cannot be Caden Ellis. He's the guy that's off the ball. We need a guy on the ball to get it. That's what a outside linebacker, basically is.
Well, let's talk about Grady Jarrett. He exits the game in the second half with an Achilles injury. Raheem Morris gave us no updates. He said he would next week. But let's say Grady Jarrett is going to be absent for any period of time. What does that do for this defense?
Definitely just his presence. Having him on there, having his leadership, and I'm gonna say senior leadership, even though he's not an old man, but just the senior leadership.
Feels like it on this defense,
exactly,
though, doesn't it?
Having him able to, tell people, no, yes, we can do this, and Jesse Bates is definitely one of the guys that they can fall back on if they don't have Grady, but just having that presence, having people from Atlanta love seeing 97. He having the sack earlier, getting the crowd into it, and getting stuff that you can't really get from a player that hasn't been here for that time.
Yeah, we're hoping for the best for Grady for sure. Let's talk about just the atmosphere was nuts. Swag surfing yet again, really great in the 4th quarter. He was doing it a little bit. I should have taken a video. Yep, he's maybe getting into it a little bit now. This is a great team to watch right now. At this point in the season, did you ever think that we'd be talking about the Falcons being as good as they are?
Actually, I kind of knew it. I think we both felt it.
Yeah.
Because we were just aggravated. I remember the text message you sent me why do they keep doing like this? I said, they're going to be good. They're going to be fine. And, so I think we've both been working with each other to show the team that we had. And I think now we're looking being 4-0 in the NFC South and heading to New Orleans and thinking that at this time of the year we might be just straight for the playoffs now, I think that's more surprising for us, but I don't think we ever thought that this wasn't an opportunity or option we had.
And it looks like they're getting better each and every week as well. And John and I getting better each and every week at trusting ourselves and trusting the Falcons in the fourth quarter. For John Abraham, I'm Maria Martin. Reggie, back to you.
All right, guys, thank you so much. You can tell it's a new Falcons age because we're talking about this team being good in situational different moments when in the past they definitely would have lost games in situation. They turned Dallas over on downs multiple times. They covered that fake punt, and they also covered the onside kick to end up winning this game.
Yeah, you know what? We always joke about falconing, right? There were plenty of chances, and they just stepped on the Cowboys' neck, and because they knew going in that this was a reeling Cowboys team, and they took advantage. They didn't try to do anything stupid, and they got it done. It was awesome.
Almost, though, Barrett.
Almost.
There's one falconing. There's one falconing that happened.
Close.
The missed snafu on the extra point there that just so happened to make this game to where the Cowboys had one last chance. Had they recovered that onside kick, they didn't. Falcons walked away, but they're not so out of the woods just yet. There's still a little bit of falconing still left around.
It's still there.
Around the corner.
It's just there. It won't go away.
It's hard to avoid. It's just years and years and years, but hey, they're out on the right track now. All right, guys, coming up, we're talking all about the Georgia-Florida game and looking ahead to the first rankings of the new college football playoff. That's next. All right, welcome back to Sports Extra. Georgia versus Florida dates back to 1904 or 1915, depending on who you ask. The amount of games played is in question too, but Saturday's 34-20 final is not. The Dogs with their fourth straight win in this series. Paul and Bear is still alongside me. Dogs improved to 7-1 this season and 5-1 in SEC play. It wasn't easy early. Florida was up with their second string quarterback, DJ Lagway, running the show. He got hurt in the second quarter, and his replacement an uphill battle. Paul, for the people at home that may question Georgia getting a win over an injured Florida team, is there an asterisk on this game? Why or why not?
I don't think so, because you really had to actually play. This Florida team was a lot better than we thought at the beginning of the season when they played against Miami. This team has gotten better. Lagway is the real deal, and had he been in the game, I think this would have still been a close game. Georgia would have won, but at the same time, this is football. Guys get injured. You can't put asterisks next to things. Georgia had some guys that were out as well. I mean, it just is football. You can't do that. I understand it, but at the same time, DJ Lagway wasn't the reason this team was going to beat Georgia. They were going to have to stop Georgia at some point, and they just couldn't do it late in the game.
See, I don't think there's an asterisk, but I think that Florida would have won this football game.
Really?
Because they owned the line of scrimmage. Before Lagway went out, even after Lagway went out, they were flat out money on the line of scrimmage. And I know we're going to talk about Carson Beck, but Carson Beck was Carson Beck, and that's a bad thing. I think but there's no asterisk. Like you said, injuries happen, whatever. But I think when this Florida team, we look at this Florida team, we thought Billy Napier was going to get fired, and blah, 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 blah. Their losses are to Miami, Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Georgia.
Top 10 teams.
Really good teams.
Maybe Florida's pretty good and just lost to slightly better teams.
Yeah. Tough situation for them, honestly. It's that tough schedule, man.
Poor Florida, man.
Yeah, poor guys.
I mean, Billy Napier has the worst luck of all time. Yeah. He's on the hot seat, and he's got to rely on a dude from Yale to save his job.
The shot that they went over to him when Lagway was down, he looked like, I did not want any part of this. Please take me home.
You know what's funny, though? It might actually save his job. Yeah. Because everyone else is dude, you're relying on somebody from Yale.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right. Good luck overthinking Jalen Walker. I mean, it feels like a tough ask, man. Florida had just 7 total points after the Lagway injury. Carson Beck did give them some opportunities, 3 interceptions on the day. I had somebody actually text me and ask, do they bench Carson Beck? No. That feels crazy to me. Why do they stick with him? Because it feels like that's an obvious answer.
The upside's there.
There we go.
I think the biggest thing is the upside's there, but the floor has gotten so much lower than it has been last year, even earlier this year. The dude became a pick machine. He's trying too hard. I think that's the biggest thing. He's trying too hard, and the fact that they don't have a Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers is something that I think has frustrated him. Arian Smith, all the talent in the world, he's like Stonehand from unnecessary roughness at times. It's just like there's not a guy he can rely on, and so I think he's trying too much.
Here's the thing, though. We have a post-game overreaction show at UJSports.com. For 3 hours last night, I had to answer this question, and I went through everything, right? And Gunnar Stockton's behind him. He can run. Carson Beck can't run. Here's the thing. Kirby knows that Carson is the guy. If he goes behind Carson, you're going to mess with his mental, and not to say he's a fragile guy, but it's going to be tough for him if he gets benched. This isn't a Quinn Ewers situation where Arch can come in. That's what people want, right?
Mm-hmm.
They saw that with Texas. They think that would happen here at Georgia. That's not the case. You have to stick with Carson Beck. I understand that he's not a first-round quarterback anymore, but he still can lead you to where you need to go.
You're going to need him to lead you to a win next week when they head to Ole Miss on next Saturday. Georgia sits at number 2 in the AP poll. First college football playoff rankings will be coming out on Tuesday.
Can't wait.
Naturally, people are going to freak out because that's just how it works when people are not in the right position they want them in. Tell them to calm down.
Fire everybody.
Fire
every single person. No, I mean, these are all for entertainment, right?
Yeah.
I know we sit here and we all freak out over the rankings every Tuesday night, but in reality, all these things they program the sport, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is like the best thing about college football is that we can all yell at each other and no one's right. There's no right answer. And that's what I think I love about these college football playoff rankings. But what we do know is that Oregon's going to be number 1, and they deserve to be. I cannot wait to see where Indiana is because they've been kicking everybody's tail, and everybody else has flaws.
Here's the thing, though, Barrett. Which college football playoff committee will we get this year? What are they valuing? And we won't know that until week 1.
It changes every week.
It changes every week. Are they valuing strength of schedule? That might leave Georgia up there. I don't know. It's going to be fun, and I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's got a little.
I'm done with the coaches polls, man.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Let's go out there.
The coaches don't care.
No, they don't. Even the SIDs don't care anymore either.
Just AP poll until we get to this point, please.
And now we get to roll on ahead, and like I said, people were freaking out on Tuesday, and I will be one of them if LSU is not in the high enough spot. All right. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has been reeling recently. 2 straight losses this weekend, an off week to reset before number 4 Miami comes to town Saturday at noon. If you're Brent Key, been a rough couple of weeks. Haynes King has obviously been injured. Do you have a message to your guys if you're a Brent Key?
Yeah, trust in Zach Pyron. I think they should put him. Look, I was at the Notre Dame game. He was okay in the first half. You can't expect somebody to have success against this Notre Dame defense. I think ultimately, pare the playbook back, give him some simple things, and say, look, all you got to do is keep us out of a shootout against Miami. Just keep Cam Ward.
That's all you have to do.
Just
stay out of the shootout with the Heisman winner.
Here's the thing. They did a really good job of that against Notre Dame in the first half, and then ultimately Notre Dame asserted itself in the line of scrimmage. I think Tech is, even without Haynes King, what Brent Key has done is nothing short of remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. And the big thing with them is, I know you can't preach to your team, hey, let's try to become bowl eligible, but that's what they need to do. They need to win one more game. It's tough against Miami, tough against Georgia, but they have NC State right in between there. If they become bowl eligible with Haynes King sidelined for multiple weeks, I mean, again, he's doing big things over there, and I know a bunch of Tech fans, they're loving it.
Yeah, I mean, the offense with him under center averaging more than 33 points per game, just 19 total points the last 2 weeks, so clearly something needs to be different. You hope he's on.
Well, you know what he said in Ireland?
What?
Run the dang ball.
Tote that rock, baby. Let's go. Just like me in college football 25 gets a pass. All righty.
Inside zone.
Coming up, what a night at Mercedes-Benz Stadium last night as United's magical run continues. We're talking about it all next.
The numbers, they help you to find predictions and maybe help Vegas in terms of their gambling odds and things like that, but the people end up changing that. The job's not done, but I'm really proud of what they've shown.
What a win for Atlanta.
As the kids say, it was absolute scenes inside a Mercedes-Benz Stadium last night as Atlanta United beats Lionel Messi and Inter Miami in the final moments of the match to force a decisive Game 3 in South Beach on Saturday. 2-1 the final in front of a crowd of more than 69,000 people on a day that fans will never forget. Barrett and Paul still haven't left me yet. They're still with me on set. This season looked like an absolute wrap on October 2nd when they lost to Montreal. They won their last 2 of the regular season. They won in penalties in the wild card round. And after losing Game 1 in Miami, they pull off the upset win last night and have a chance to advance with a win on Saturday. So my question to both of you guys is a little bit bigger. Where does this run for this team who lost all their best players, had to fire their general manager, fire their head coach? Where is it ranking on probable runs?
You know what? I'm going to go with a season that ended on top. The Atlanta Braves in 2021.
Wow,
everyone talks about how great they were. They were awful. That was a terrible baseball team at the All-Star break. They get Jock Peterson, and they don't even know if they're going to keep him.
Yeah.
They might use him as a trade bait before the trade deadline. And sure enough, what happens next. So I'd say the Atlanta Braves 2021.
I can't think of another team that's had to fire their head coach and go through so many things, lost their best player. I'll go with the Braves of this year because at least they made the playoffs.
Yeah,
that is true.
There's not much expectation for this Atlanta United team. Look at that crowd, though. It's truly something that is. I don't know if the Braves had that this season.
You mentioned
wanted to watch the
crowd.
Braves this year. It was hard.
You mentioned that crowd. I mean, at the end of that match, I swear it sounded like an SEC football road game. It was unbelievable. For you guys that watched, obviously, these different scenes on the TV, where does last night's magic kind of rank up in other magical moments inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Well, there's been a lot, and not a lot with the Falcons really recently, but walk-off for Alabama in the national championship game.
Okay,
Georgia in the Sugar Bowl in the semifinal.
Yeah.
That's kind of where you get, and look, Atlanta United games, really from the moment they move to the Benz, it's a party.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you're not a soccer fan, you enjoy the atmosphere.
Pastor Troy, them franchise boys. Yep. In my white tee.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, I had people sending me videos. I did. Yeah. I mean, they're out there. They're doing the thing, and it looks good out there. It looks good. I like it.
It's a whole lot of fun, man. And if you guys look, I always say this: if you haven't been to an Atlanta United game,
gotta go.
It's time to get there. All right, Hawks season continues. So far, it's been a good run, but less fun recently. 6 different players injured on the injury report coming in today. Dyson Daniels did end up playing tonight, but a lot of injuries for the second straight year. Who is to blame for the Hawks' problems on the injuries?
I don't know. Do they have?
Toss them under the bus.
Do they have an athletic trainer? You said toss them under the bus. I don't know.
You just did.
Yeah, I did. There you go. Hey, don't slide in my DMs. I appreciate what you do for these Hawks, and I'm sure you're there doing well. But there's guys getting injured. It's tough to watch this team, man. It really is. I watched the first 2 games. They bought me in.
Yeah.
And then slowly they're just taking me right back out. Every game, and it just gets worse and worse.
See, I think there's something to be excited about. It's just dumb luck, I think, for injuries. But seeing Zachary Risache come in and show just a little taste, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go out there and be a superstar. Just a little taste of why he was number 1 overall. I think he's done that. Part of it is because of injuries, right? But still, this team is not going to win the NBA championship.
No.
So give a glimpse of the future. I think they've done that.
I think they have too. Look, there's a lot of good things you can like, so we'll see what happens going forward. All right, we got one more break. It's our it's our moment of the week, video of the week. We'll see it after the break. All right, final block. I called it different things, but it's actually our video of the week. Jalen Waltall, the touchdown celebration for Incarnate Ward, which set the nation on fire. Drake London and Amon-Ra St. Brown both did it as well.
I'm 44. I'd break like 10 bones doing that.
You took my line. I'm 34 and I would break about 15. There's no way I could do. There's absolutely no way.
I'm trying it, man. As soon as we get off set here, I'm
right there
on
the
right
table.
There. Hey, we're lucky there's no more time left. We'll do it now.
Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you guys next week.